My name is Fraser.
My name is Mark.
And we are the hosts of the geekiest show alive. To the outside world, we're ordinary geeks.
But in the Fab International Studios, we talk comics and find other geeks just like us. This is Geek of the Week.
Pull or pass to explain this segment of the show. And basically, first off, let's explain what the pull part means. So, when you go into your local comic book store and you pick up, let's say, a handy issue we have here, such as Gunning for Hits, and it's an issue 1. You go in, you go to the cashier, go to the clerk, you pop it down and go, oh, 1 Gunning for Hits, please. And they say, oh, do you want to add this to your pull? No, it's a pull. Basically, whenever there's another Gunning for Hits, if you say yes, of course, say 2, 3, 4, and 1 billionth issue, they will put it behind for you. It's sort of like a subscription service, but less like, we demand your money right now when you need to set up a direct debit. It's more like, whenever you want to come in, we've got these back here for you, and it's chill, don't worry about it. And then you can walk in one day and just be like, hey, what's on my pull this week? And they go, oh, well, Gunning for Hits had 2 more issues since the last time you were in. Here you go. And you go, oh, sweet, awesome. And what we do on this show is we take typically 3 issues, usually number 1s or like the start of stories, because I'm just
Arc starts.
Yeah, I'm sort of like setting this up because we've started. There was a French. There was February. I don't know why I got French from February, but there you go. That's a bit of dyslexia for you in there. But we looked at those solicitations anyway. I can say that word though. And we've set up Pull or Pass. I've set up Pull or Pass for 2 months, which is very
That's impressive.
weirdly prepared for me because usually I do it the week of. Just a little information for you. But we've had a look anyway, and some of them are against arc starts, so just warning for that. But for this week, I don't know why I did that long explanation. They're all first.
They are.
And the first one we're going to start off with may as well be the one I just talked about. Gunning for Hits by Image. Now, Mark, what did you think of this book?
Well, unsurprisingly, this was the one that I wanted on Pull or Pass this week.
Of course.
And it's got Bowie on the cover, so, you know.
Exactly. I saw that and I was like, I can see why you picked this.
For me, that's a good start.
That's an instant pull.
Considering that David Bowie is probably my greatest hero.
Oh.
I just love Bowie's music. It just speaks to me, and it's just wonderful. But that was a good start. But you can't judge a book by its cover, Fraser.
Oh.
So yeah, I read through it.
Can't judge a book by its Bowie.
You can't. I was a little bit worried that because I was looking forward to this title so much, because a comic book about music and I like music. But no, I loved it. I liked the 2 different art styles, the one that was inside his head and the one that was the reality.
Oh yeah, when it changed into that, I was like, okay, this is pretty cool.
It was clever. It was really clever, and I hope they continue to do that in future.
And the way he was going, like, it was like he was going into the music business and stuff like that, and I was like, oh wow, this is a bit, I don't know if
And the weirdness of the inside his head art style made a lot more sense after the twist as well.
Oh my goodness, the twist was so cool.
Yeah, and it's dark and cynical and a brutal depiction of the music industry at that time. And did you check out any of the stuff on Twitter or the website and the Spotify playlists?
No. Oh, they made like a.
They've added a Spotify playlist to listen to while you're reading the comic.
Oh, that's cool.
It's very clever.
That's
very,
cool.
very clever. And I like that. That's playing with tech, but it's still a comic book. Yeah,
it's not taken away from it because there are some comics they do like when they do their digital version, they'll have music with it, or you can press music and stuff like that. And it reminds me, do you remember those books when you were a kid? And it's like, press the cow button. Obviously, it's not like that. It's like, press the Bowie button.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. Have to say, perfectly fitting title.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gunning for Hits. Don't want to go into more on that because it's potentially spoilers. But this book took a really weird turn. I was like, whoa, what? And obviously, we should explain. We'll explain this more in trade-off. But I'm a very like childlike person, very innocent in what I read in comics. And Mark is more adult. And then when this weird turn happened, I was like, I don't really know if I want to keep on reading. And then there was a dark turn, a pretty badass turn, and I was like, oh, okay, that was cool. And then it was like fitting title, and it's and that second turn made it a pull for me.
It's absolutely a pull for me. I'm glad it was good because I wanted it to be good.
It was going to be a pull, and then the weird turn happened. And I was like, well, this is a bit more than a pull that's happening in this comic. And then I was like, I think I might pass on it. And then the turn, I was like, oh, okay, it's back on pull. Now you say David Bowie is your hero.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about my hero. Now the other two are very clear. If you've listened to the show or if you know me personally, these two are very obviously my choices. The first one is Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man by Marvel. I'll let you start off, mate.
Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man?
Kind.
Well, what I liked about this song, I want to talk about the cover. The cover, all the books released this week were Stan Lee kind of like tribute stuff.
Yeah.
They highlighted Stan Lee more than the name of the title, which is very brave for an issue 1.
And they did that with.
I think that's incredibly important.
Yeah, it was awesome, and they did it with. There was a little soapbox at the end, a Stan soapbox.
Correct.
I also I forgot earlier in the show, but the Spider-Man DLC had a tribute to Stan Lee as well. There's been a lot of tributes to Stan Lee, which is always incredible, and it's just amazing to see it on so many different platforms.
Yep.
They really emphasised the friendly part of this. I just want to point out, great introduction. The way it started and stuff like that. You know, we met with Peter Parker, and he sort of explained that, when I'm on top of a building, I'm really scared. But then it's that thing of when he hears danger, that all goes away, and it's sort of that's the Spider-Man we've been getting in film. You know, he has that speech with Tony where it's like, when you have powers like I do and the bad stuff happens, they happen because of you. Again, it's all sort of, it goes back to that first big story with Spider-Man of with great power comes great responsibility. Yeah. Everybody knows it, but I always like how they managed to tell it in a different way, or they managed to.
I liked how they did it in this
paraphrase
comic, actually,
it,
where it was just a 2-page spread with major events of his history in the background with his face in the front. That was really clever.
That was incredible as well, because it was all these big buildings in New York and stuff like that, obviously the high scrapers and stuff like that, and it was all key moments, and it was a perfect thing for like, yes, this is a first issue, but it has got the history of Spider-Man, so it's sort of, it was best of both worlds for people who have read Spider-Man for years. Okay, they respect this.
Reminded me of the way they tend to do it in Doctor Who as well.
Whenever they do a regeneration, but it was still inviting for new people, and they really emphasised the neighbourhood thing.
Yeah, have you been to New York?
Yeah,
I've been relatively recently, last year, and I felt like, having been to New York, I felt more comfortable understanding the way the neighbourhood was. And it was great, and I've had one of the dirty water dogs that he had.
When they go to the car.
In the car.
Oh, that was super cute as well.
I made a point of doing that when I went to New York.
So someone he rescues goes to give him a tip, and in his head he's like, oh, this would be great actually because my rent's coming up and stuff like that. But then he obviously, with the neighbourhood thing, he's friends with like homeless people and stuff like that. So he says give it to them, and then they come to Peter later on, and it's again, I love that thing of like, it's the dynamic of Peter and Spidey, which sometimes Peter's missing in Amazing Spider-Man, the stories, just because the stories are so big and there's not enough time to focus on Peter. So it was really great to see this, and his neighbours were so cute.
They emphasised neighbourhood rather than superhero, which is interesting and cool and slightly
again,
different.
It's taken over from Spectacular, which was again doing that. Chip Zdarsky was doing stuff with that character in a similar environment, and then he did get a few stories that were sort of like, not big rise stories, but they were more superhero stories. But at the end, the writing team, I think it's Tom Taylor and stuff like that, and the Spidey Office, I always love reading a Spider-Man book because you get a little thing at the end from Spidey Office, and it's all these different things, people writing in, people writing back. Again, it all stems from Stan Lee's soapbox. But yeah, they were talking about how this isn't him protecting the world, this isn't him protecting even New York, this is him protecting his neighbourhood, and I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cute.
Yeah.
And Oh my goodness, we even got like, they were like, don't worry, you get an extra story. And I was like, yay, so happy for the extra story.
It wasn't a happy extra story.
It was a really sad story. And like, because Aunt May was leaving this message for Peter.
No,
and,
don't tell people, it's just to say it was heartbreaking.
And then, but what I loved was, there was super cute stuff with like, Mary Jane and Peter, and they were both wearing spider suits because he's swinging her around, and then there was this thing with like a blanket and stuff. And it was all like,
it was lovely.
It was dead nice.
It was very romantic.
And yeah, I was like, aww, yay.
Yeah, it was.
I hope it works out for them. I hope it works out for them too. I swear. But yeah, so probably a pass for me. I mean, not that invested.
It is a pass for me because I know I can borrow yours. It would be a pull if I didn't know you, but I'm totally borrowing yours.
How dare you? Yeah, it's definitely a pull.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
It's a super pull.
It is a pull for me, but I will probably read yours. Like, you'll probably read my Gunning for Hits, truth be told, realistically.
Yeah, to be fair, if we're both buying the same comic, it's a bit bizarre, isn't it? Yeah, also a bit.
But yeah, it is. Of course, it's a pull. It was like we were saying before. It was a story arc introduction, even though it was an issue 1 in this particular case.
Yeah.
With Spider-Man in particular, there's so much Spider-Man history, well, Peter Parker Spider-Man history, that it is the pull of a new story arc, isn't it? And I am pulling this story arc because it just started so well,
It'd be
so lovely.
Yeah, so cool to see. Yeah. And speaking of Spider-Man, trying to relate it back, a great guy who started a great thing for Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, Brian Michael Bendis. Kickstarted Young Justice this week, and also kickstarted Wonder Comics, the sort of younger imprint for DC, and that's the 3rd book we're on. Now, I was kind of cautiously optimistic with this because Bendis, again, like I said, did amazing stuff with Ultimate Spider-Man. We're making our way. I'm making my way through like the latter parts. I'm introducing you into it, which is really exciting with trade-off and stuff. And he did amazing stuff with that and the Ultimate Universe. But then he also did not so great stuff with that. And also, he's introduced recently, last year in Marvel, he introduced new exciting characters. He's introduced Riri Williams last year, and then a couple of years ago, Miles Morales and all this. And, you know, you've seen how great that worked out in film. He made Jessica Jones. And all these characters that have appeared on film and TV and have done really well and did really well in their comics themselves.
He must be minted.
Oh, totally. Yes, so minted. And he's like writing Superman and all this now. He literally, at DC as well, gets to pick whatever he wants to write. And he wrote basically everything for Marvel, which was his downfall in my opinion, because he was writing almost too much and nothing felt original anymore. It was all sort of like he's just sort of doing this because he has to. And it seemed like he was gunning for the editor-in-chief position, didn't get it, so that's why he went to DC. There's loads of speculation behind that. Could also just be he wanted to write something new, and I'm hoping it's the latter, and he wanted to write something new and he's inspired by this. But yeah, so big spiral. Young Justice, what did you think of this? Bearing in mind that the season 3's now out in America, we're not over here.
I am unashamedly a massive sucker for double pages and large full pages.
Oh, then you will love Bendis.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for that, and they were on point in this book. There were some brilliant ones, and I liked like a major event happened, and the passers-by. The passers-by didn't bat an eyelid.
Yeah, it's the DC. It's not
and it's like that was quite self-aware, and I quite like that. The jaded normal folk. I quite liked that. A Superboy and Impulse a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, like boyfriends.
Oh no.
Do they have a thing?
No, they're just mates.
Oh right, okay then that. Then some of the art wasn't on point then, because the impression I got was that they were lovers.
When you said, are they a thing? I was like, yeah, they exist.
No. Do they have a thing? Are they lovers?
It's just like a strong bromance.
So they're not together?
No.
Yeah, that panel made it look like they were a couple. Oh. So I got quite excited about that. I was like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Pretty
He was even like, you look hot. Because he got like a new stubble thing going on. I thought that they got like a
maybe that's something they're going for. They might be. You know, you might be onto something there. I might be.
Either that or the artist got it wrong.
I might be just
because it looked like that to me.
I might just be seeing friendship there, but I do see that a lot. To be fair, it's my again young innocent eyes.
Oh yeah. Maybe I'm just. Maybe I just look for
love.
Well, I was more going to say look for LGBT stuff.
Oh yeah.
No,
No,
maybe.
it could well be as well. Like Young Justice has and sort of the Wonder comics. I could see them going into that because obviously with the youth they'd be reading that and it'd be cool to see that representation for them. And it can be hard when you're younger. You know, if you are in the closet and seeing a character like Impulse or Superboy would be cool to see. But yeah. But don't worry, you are not alone on that. There probably are forums that are campaigning for that, or it is genuinely a thing. But
I'm not campaigning for it. I just when I saw it, I thought it was cool.
No, but for me personally, I don't think I've ever read anything like that. But I could totally be wrong. But I've always seen it as like it is that strong friendship. But it is funny because this just to go back to what you were saying about the public and stuff like that. The villains of the piece really want Superman. What they get is Young Justice instead, and that's kind of funny. They're just like, yeah, no, you're not a Superman level threat. Don't worry, we've got this. What I did like was as well to sort of again the self-awareness stuff. Is the big thing was crisis, and that is a big buzzword at DC. Crisis, you see that and you're like, oh, they're restarting again. And they even made a thing about it. They were like, Earth has gone through 7 crises, and they had a cool little explanation for what they say a crisis is, and it's Earth event that changes the Earth against its natural evolution. And basically, if you're unfamiliar with DC, whenever there's a crisis, it usually means that they're going to restart and reboot their universe. They did it with New 52, they did it with Rebirth, and they've done it years and years before that. So whenever you see something like Crisis, you know the universe. And there's been so many hints of this before this. There's a Heroes in Crisis book, so there's already a book with Crisis in the name, so you're like, oh, so we're restarting again.
It was a gentle, self-aware poke.
Yeah.
It wasn't too hokey, and it certainly wasn't deliberate Deadpool level of stuff.
No.
But it was a nice little nod, and I didn't find it hokey. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, because sometimes Bendis he likes to do stuff like that. He likes to do self-aware stuff because he did it a lot in Ultimate Spider-Man. There's this story where he's just like, I'm only doing this because my editor, and he has like a literal, like an actual panel of comic, like written, drew and all made up of him arguing with his editor about making this Freaky Friday issue with Wolverine and Spidey. He's like, I'm only doing this to fill out thingies. So he's very self-aware. Sometimes it works too, like it doesn't go in his favour, but I feel like for this it worked, and it was just sort of it made me chuckle when I first saw it, and the fact that the title's even got it in, it's like 7 Crises. I was like, oh yeah, and it's but yeah, I also liked as well that you got very much from the start that they are young. You know, Bart Allen's taking a selfie, and they even recreated the so there's this distracted boyfriend meme where like the boyfriend he's looking away like that, and the girlfriend's like angry, and then it's something else, and people always do it with different stuff like. You know, they might do Marvel.
Yeah,
like
memes won't resonate
but
with me.
They did it with Superboy, and I thought that was hilarious. It's like people looking at Superboy. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's kind of.
I wouldn't have got that.
But I did. That's not. No, there you go then, because they're young, you know, and you're
not
less young. See, I can be polite. You're Justice. They're Young Justice. You're Justice.
Right.
We won't say. We won't say the O word.
No, let's not say the O word.
So for you, I guess the question still blurs. Pull or pass? I was going to say something about Bendis. Like,
I was impressed with it. It was certainly better than the Shazam tosh that you gave me a couple of weeks ago, which had young people in it. But Runaways is my thing with the younger protagonists. I liked it.
You know what? We need to get some Titans and Teen Titans on the trade-off to get.
But no, I liked it. I really liked it. Probably not a pull, but very close.
Yeah. Is it going to be one of them where you probably just steal my stuff?
I would be interested in it if you.
And just like
But it's not a pull like Spider-Man or gunning for hits. No.
I've hit the trifecta this week because it's pull.
Well,
pulling it all. It's like Christmas and the crackers. Pull them.
Right, when I went to get my pull this week, I picked up the second and third issues of Bitterroot, which was one of the ones I pulled recently. And the covers link into one big image. It's pretty cool.
It's very nice. They do that quite a bit.
That made me happy.
They do that quite a bit in comics, and it's.
And I wouldn't have got that if I hadn't pulled this title from this show.
And you wouldn't have got it as well if you got it in trade or digital. There you go. They've always got you. They do that in holographic covers here a lot.
Yeah.
As well. There's a cool Flash. Was it Flash? No, it was a Teen Titans event and Titans and Teen Titans and Deathstroke crossover where each you had to get each comic from like a different issue from each of the titles, and when they all come across, they all made a beautiful little image together. And I was dead excited, apart from the fact I didn't have the Deathstroke issue for ages, and I was like, no, it doesn't fit. But yeah, they always do like stuff like that, and holographic covers are big, cool things. And also as well, it's incredible art to see and just have, and just like, oh, look at this, it's pretty cool.
It's cool. It's cool.
But yeah, so like we said before in news, we're interested to know what you guys think. What was on your pull this week? What did you read and go, I'm probably going to pass on it? Or what did you not even bother reading? You just saw it and went, I'm going to pass. And what was your opinions on these three as well? Did you see Young Justice and go, Bendis is writing it, that's a straight pass? Or did you go, Bendis is writing it, Ultimate Spider-Man vibes, pass? I need to talk about other good stuff he did, because he did like amazing stuff. Jessica, no, it's not going to be Jessica Jones vibes, because that was quite upsetting. No, it is Ultimate Spider-Man vibes, and yeah, it does work. Yeah, there you go.
We've got Ultimate Spider-Man up on
Trade-off coming up, yeah. But yeah, was it them? What's your opinion? Is there too many Spider-Man books? No, there's not. Just to answer your question right there, you can have your opinion, but it's wrong.
Fraser.
Oh. But yeah, that's Pull or Pass. There we go.
Thanks for listening to Geek of the Week. Be sure to tune in next week. Same geek time, same geek channel.
And if you want to follow us on social media, it's at GOTW Radio on Twitter. Search for Geek of the Week Radio Show on Facebook. And to listen again, it's www.mixcloud.com/Geek of the Week Radio Show.